What's going on, guys? It is your boy Cash, and today we are going to have another discussion. I really thank you guys for having a really cool discussion with Runecraft versus Swordcraft. I really appreciate you guys coming in and talking about that, and I still feel like I think majority of people definitely said Rune. I think Rune was the better of the two. But it's funny, but Sword is always, I still feel Sword's always top, but we're not going to talk about that today. Today, we're going to be talking about the bottom. Sword and Rune are both like amongst the top. They're always on the top, depending on the meta. They might be top 3 or top 5, depending, you know, how it goes. But these two are like usually somewhere up there in the meta, and then they kind of rotate. But the bottom two has to go to Forestcraft and Portal. Forest was good, I think, when you look at it in limited, but again, this is rotation discussion. I feel like Forest has not been in a strong place in rotation for a very long time. They have decks that can definitely get a win on the other classes, of course. I mean, every deck, every craft can beat another craft. But when it comes down to consistency, I feel like Forest has just always had like just slightly less ability to do that. Like, they've had some strong turns, and I'm pretty sure people are going to chime in on what deck and what time frame in the rotation that they were strong. But I feel like currently, right now in the meta, which is what this discussion is about, Forest is just lacking. And the same thing is going to go with Portalcraft. Even though Portalcraft just got the brand new Prince of Belphomet, it doesn't seem that that is even the way to go. I still feel that Lashana is better in the current meta, that you're probably better off going with Lashana. So I'm going to of course show two matches of both of them as we just talk and discuss about their decks. And like the last video, the discussion will be split into two questions. The two questions are as follows: who wins in a 1v1? So Forest versus Portalcraft, who's taking the dub? Who's taking the dub? Then it goes into, out of Forestcraft versus Portal, who do you think beats all the other classes? Obviously including in that one, that's including the 1v1. But who do you think beats all these other metas? If you were to pick one or the other, what class are you going to climb with more in rotation? All right, here we go. We're going to first and foremost showcase some Forest the Craft. Now, Forestcraft has the Machina deck, of course. It has the Evo deck with Izudia, or you cannot use Izudia. You don't really have to. This is my evolved deck, my new version of it anyway, with the Milolo, whatever the hell her name is, right? So I'm trying out this new deck. That other legend, sorry, not even, no, it is a legendary. I think it's trash. It's definitely something that only belongs in Unlimited. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's about. I do like this deck. The Evo deck, I feel, is the strongest deck Forest deck can possibly put out right now. They have so many options, and I feel like that's what it hurts Forestcraft, because unless someone makes the best, most optimal deck, I feel as though that's where Forestcraft just, like, everyone needs to make that same deck. Like, you can have Rune and Sword. The reason why they're so strong is that you can kind of mix and match those. But I feel like you can't do that with Forest and Portal. Right now, their deck is like, this is the deck. Do it or don't do it. And by the way, I've been hearing people talk about this as well. Odin, literally, I honestly feel that Odin is forced into your hand. Even, I feel like they have something like, you see how he's drawing, sorry, this thing will go away until I unclick it, right? Go away. I feel like there's a new thing in the game's algorithm or something like that, that you are going to draw a legendary card. I know that you have more legendaries in a deck, right? Like, you would say, like, well, duh, you know, the whole decks are halfway legendaries now, right? But at the same time, like, I feel like even when I have a deck that doesn't have that many legendaries and I make an Evo deck, I draw Odin. Like, he's just drawn to be, like, he has some algorithm that he's always drawn. Now, what I like about this Evo deck specifically is the ability to just kind of like constantly have answers on the field, and without losing too much of like your actual HP. Even if you do lose HP, you can kind of always balance it out. Look at this fat 7'9". It's so fat. It's so fat. I love the Daisy Bolt Archer, as like if you set up your board the right way, you can just annihilate a board. This guy's using his salvation. We're gonna go Haven
Divine punishment.
eventually. I think I'm gonna just have to do Haven versus Blood as like the battle for 4th place or something, like for 3rd and 4th, because they're always in weird positions themselves, but they're never weak. I feel like Blood and Haven are never weak, so I think that's the next one after these two. As far as I'm concerned.
It won't be long now.
Love this Carbuckle card. Like, it's just like these. It's like this deck works so damn good. So good.
I'll come back as many times as I must.
This is gonna hurt.
Like right now, if he doesn't, like, I know I don't have an Evo point, but I can do 4 damage just from Evoing something. Like, that's huge. That's actually kind of huge when you really think about it. Like, as far as like, you know, doing that. And, like, he has this card. I'm like, what did that come out of nowhere? Same here is what I absolutely hate. I think it's such a waste in any Haven deck.
Wait, I thought I hit.
It's like really cute, but it just messes up your end game. And I'm like, oh baby, this guy's going hard in the paint. But guess what? Grimnir. Oh my god, when they announced this card, I was like, yes. And I make a Evo. I will make an Evo deck in every single card. That's how much I like the new Evo style. You can literally make an Evo deck in Haven with like the amulet breaking and stuff like that. Every deck can like have an Evo deck, and it's so cool.
Summoning divine punishment.
And then there he has Heavenly Aegis. Guys, Heavenly Aegis is absolutely 100% garbage. It's so crap in this game, or in the current state of the meta. You just lose when you play it. Like, there's really no reason to actually utilize that. Like, I think Lamonia is her name. She should only be used for, you know, other reasons. It just doesn't really work out in my opinion. But and then we got that, the Predatory Might, a great way, 5 damage to a random enemy. As you can see, if you get to the point where you can lower it out or like lower the chances of it hitting randomly, it's really good. Goes with another, I think that's his 3rd freaking holy Ekdar. Jesus. Has to blow everything just to get that. And as you can see, we're not sweating at all. There's like no reason here. Now we can look at this mega combo. Boom, and I think we go, yeah. Hit that, return it back with Nature's Guidance. Double Evos. And I think now at this point we're probably at 6. And we get the Carbuckle Sparkle. Like, this deck flows like butter, baby. Boom, and then I can even throw in this fairy. I can throw it in and Evo it. I don't know if I do that. If I do it, it's just to get Odin's passive. Well, yeah, because remember, Grimnir only hit for 3 across, right? I haven't Evo'd since then, and that's 1, 2, 3. Now we're at 6. Odin is active. Now, because Odin always goes into my hand, I only have 2 of them in the deck. So I have 1 in my hand, and then the other one is this. And check out this Heavenly Aegis. Huge waste. Huge waste, man. Just don't even play it. And of course they don't know that we have the lovely Evo. So now we have the boom. Nice and easy. Clear that out. That's 10 damage? Yeah, it's only 10, but then he's gonna be left with 2.
I'll finish you off now.
Boom. We're at 20 HP. Can I just throw this down to reassure that? Now, yes, they could, what is it, Thermos Purge or whatever like that me, and then they would have cleared everything and then hit the 8. But then the next turn we just play Odin.
You're done for.
And then unless he had that Steadfast Angel, I think that's what his name is, then he could have blocked it and it would have stalled the match out even longer. But this game is a Reynolds wrap. Not much he can do. I do think that the other decks of Haven are stronger, like the Zeki Baba, you know, the Zeki Baba, regular Lions. Mecha itself, I think, is actually strong. Yeah, I think when you go Mech and Haven, you still gotta go Tenko. Anyway, this is where I like to go into the same way I did in the other video. We kind of look at the goals and legendary because they kind of set the tone of the actual deck. Azudia, if you saw there, I would have won 8 years ago if I had Azudia, right? You just get Azudia, you have the Odin, you evo the Odin. You play Azudia, that's 6 damage, end of the game, right? Sky Devouring Horror is for another deck. Actually, I'm predicting within the next expansion, Sky Devouring Horror and Cynthia are going to be monstrous. I do think that the next expansion, they're finally going to give you all these smaller cards because, well, we lose Korwa. Korwa is like one of the easier ones because she gives you a whole bunch of 1-cost spells, made it kind of easier. But I think that they gave us Area's Whirlwind for a reason. I think that their next expansion is going to come strong. And then of course you got the Mecha. The Mecha just seems like it's kind of awkward But again, there always seems like there's something short. And I think the next expansion, I think Forest will actually be top 3. Currently, I definitely don't think it is, but I think next expansion, this deck already is pretty strong, and the cards that they're losing are not like, this is all we're losing in this. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, this isn't this bad. Like, this card would seem cool, but no one's really ever to do it. Force Whispers actually was a nice counter to like the Haven stupidity with the amulet. But look at what Force is losing. They're not losing much, but they can gain a lot. With their current gallery of cards, they can really become strong. But let's go and talk about Portal, because Portal is in a special love-hate relationship that I have with Portal. Portal is honestly, if I'm being 100% honest here, and I think you guys would agree, Portal is the only class that literally takes digital card gaming to its absolute limit. It literally, when it first came out, it was the only deck that I know. Like, they had, what is it, like Mystic Ring for Rune, but they are really showcasing a version of a card game that only can be done. Placing random cards into the deck, you get power based on how many cards are in your deck at all times. This would be a nightmare if you were trying to do this in real life, like all those tokens in your deck. I mean, you could technically count it out, right? Like how this card here puts 2, and if you have 3, so you'd have to have 6 of these ready to go. And then if you have the core card, you'd have to have all that. Like, you'd have to have so many, like, you'd have to have a briefcase of cards to really utilize Portal, like, in real life, right? So you can put those cards in and shuffle them around. People would cheat anyway if you look at people that play Yu-Gi. But anyway, my problem with Portal is, again, just the same thing as Force, and this is why I wanted to compare them. They're so short of amazing. They're always so close. This Machina deck that they actually run is so good, but again, it's one of these decks that just falls short, and you feel it. It hurts your soul when you can't finish it, when you can't get Belphegor, when you don't get the other Gizzle, whatever the name of that card. We'll look at it later. It starts with a G. I don't know what it is without it popping up. And Orbit Desecration is such a crazy cool card. When you run, like, there's orb decks that specifically specify orb itself. This deck doesn't. This deck is just, I hope I get Belphegor, and then the orb will work with it. It's a nice card to have because you need filler cards, because there's not enough Machina support for most decks. That's why Blood is so strong with Machina, because there's enough Machina support that makes sense. And that was what I was gonna say about this deck. That some of the Machina cards in here is for artifact support. It just fills your deck with stuff, and it doesn't really help you draw Belphegor, who was the card you need. Like, yeah, this card. I don't want to put purificating artifacts in my deck. I want to draw Belphegor. And then when I play Belphegor, I want to draw the Belphegor Machina cards that he just put in my deck and switched. That's what I want. So it's just a little awkward when you're playing like the deck, and like it doesn't feel right. Like when you play every other Machina deck, you play Forest Machina, Rune Machina, it kind of still goes with the game plan. But this one doesn't. So it just feels really weird.
Nothing special, but I'll try.
I felt bad for him here because he couldn't. If he had an Evo there. Actually, I wasn't paying attention, so maybe he didn't Evo. But he had to leave this up, and it's like, damn, bro. Damn. So we know what's gonna happen. But here, as you can see, I don't have Belphegor. I'm doing this for a reason, because I'm not gonna trade into that. Oh wait, no. I forgot why I did that. I could have Joy of Destruction. And that was another thing, that this deck has Joy of Destruction and it doesn't work well because Machinas don't mesh well with it. Don't ask me. I made a ton of mistakes, but he's so low it doesn't matter. I think that's why I did that. I was just rushing him down. But on that same note, like, it just seems like it doesn't have enough support, and that Lashena is just right. You have Maisha, you have Lashena, you have the puppets for control. You pretty much have everything that you need, right? You don't, there's no shortcomings. And here it's pretty clean cut. Techno Lord is like a godsend. Unfortunately, I think Mysteria deck, again, is just not what it used to be. I feel like Portal has been surviving through its Portal. Wow. I feel like it's been surviving through puppets, like, for so long. Here it is, this card, Gulius Silver Beast Lord. This one is really good. Like, this deck is really good, and it works good, but I just feel it's not consistent. I lose more than I win. I just showed a win because I was the last Portal Craft match that I've done. But this card is just too good. Lashena is so good, and there's not much that counter it, especially the only people that kind of run Kakaitis right now is Dragon. And as far as you being able to win, one of having some trouble with only one class that can kind of counter you, it's strong. So as I wrap this up, what do you guys think? I just want to know, and I say in the beginning of the video, who wins 1v1 if these two classes fight? Who do you guys think is going to win majority of the time? And then secondly, who wins amongst the other classes? Who is stronger? Do you think Forest beats most of their matchups versus all the other classes? Or do you think Portal beats most of their other matchups, versus the other classes? What do you guys think? I do think if I had to go, now these are both my favorite classes. Instead of it being I'm a Rune fanboy and I hate Sword, I love both Forest and I love Portal. I love both of them dearly. So when it comes down to what I really think here, I do think that Forest is stronger. I think Portal maybe next expansion might get it, but I feel like guaranteed Forest will. And this card, by the way, I think with this and the new thing that came up, where is it? Okay, we got and this, I think these two are going to be a match made in 8 types of hell. I really do. I do think that this card's going to get a lot of play next expansion. My prediction. Look at what Portal Craft is losing. Look at what they're losing next expansion. Nothing. This is the best card that they're losing, if we're being honest, right? No one uses this, no one uses that. Orcus was used at the time it was released, but then slowly got faded back, right? And if we look at the bronze and silver, you'll see a couple cards like the Crystal Cannon is a loss, but it only got good pretty much recently. Junk is a pretty good loss for the puppet aspect of the deck. Known history not used that much. Miriam is a loss, right? You'll be thinking about cards that people actually actively use, but that's really about it. Portal is in a position where they can just become randomly strong out of nowhere, but it just depends on if the devs really want to make it that strong, or do they want to stay with their flagships, which is Sword, Rune, Dragon. They get like the best of everything. Even Shadow sometimes doesn't get like the best of what they could be, because it just becomes in and out strong. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Also Reddit, again, thank you guys so much for blowing this video up and really having a discussion. I really appreciate you guys. So yes, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope I put two good enough parallels that the conversation is actually worth, and it's not, no, Portal's better, what are you talking about? I honestly think that Baphomet is okay, but I don't think he's the end all be all. Even when you play him, he doesn't always get the dub for you, not all the time. Same thing with Prince of Kakaitis. At least Prince of Kakaitis has support that you can draw it, right? Lyria, you can use Lyria, and that's another way to get Kakaitis into the hand. And it also is just a decent card even by itself. There's no way to get Baphomet into the hand, like there's no additional ways. You just have to draw into him. So I think that's why it's a little bit different than Dragon. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's get out of here. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream. I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.